Have you ever felt like life knocked you down so hard you couldn't see a way forward? That moment right there is not the end, it's the test. And today, I'm going to show you how to rise stronger than ever before. Setbacks are not failures. They are the stepping stones to your greatest comeback. Every successful person has faced moments of doubt, pain, and defeat. The difference is how they respond. Today, you'll discover the mindset and strategies to turn obstacles into opportunities and transform your lowest moments into your highest achievements. Before you can rise from a setback, you must first stop running from it. Too often, we spend our energy wishing things were different, blaming circumstances, or holding on to anger and regret. We deny what has happened because it hurts, because it's uncomfortable, because it challenges our sense of control. But denial is a trap. It keeps you stuck, spinning in circles, unable to move forward. The first step toward bouncing back is not to pretend everything is fine, it's to face the truth of your situation fully and honestly. Look at what happened without excuses. Name the setback, speak it aloud, and acknowledge the emotions that come with it. Fear, disappointment, frustration, these are not weaknesses. They are signals that something significant has occurred and that your mind and body need to process it. Feeling the pain fully is not a sign of surrender. It is a declaration that you are human and, more importantly, that you are aware. Acceptance does not mean resignation. It does not mean that you approve of what happened or that you believe it is fair. Acceptance is a conscious choice to stop wasting energy on denial and resistance. When you accept reality, you stop fighting shadows and start focusing on what is in front of you. You stop expending effort trying to change the unchangeable and begin applying that energy to change yourself and your response. The power of acceptance lies in its ability to clear mental space. When you acknowledge the setback, when you stop pretending, you free your mind from the weight of resistance. That clarity allows you to see opportunities you might have overlooked, to plan your next steps with precision, and to take action without the chains of regret holding you back. Often, people avoid acceptance because they fear it will make the situation permanent in their minds, that admitting the truth will solidify their loss. But the opposite is true. Acceptance is the gateway to freedom. Once you stop fighting reality, you reclaim your power. You realize that the setback, no matter how severe, is just one chapter, not the entire story. Acceptance allows you to take responsibility, not for causing the setback necessarily, but for deciding how you will respond. It transforms passive suffering into active recovery, and in that moment, you begin to shift from being a victim of circumstance to being the architect of your comeback. Every great leader, every successful person has faced setbacks, and their secret was not pretending they didn't exist. Their strength came from accepting reality, understanding it, and then taking deliberate steps forward. When you embrace acceptance, you stop wasting time on resistance and start creating momentum toward your future. You stop being trapped by what happened and begin building what will happen. That is the first, most crucial step on the path to bouncing back. The moment you let go of denial and face the truth, you open the door to resilience, growth, and ultimately triumph. Every setback, every failure, every moment where things don't go the way you hoped is not the end of your journey. It's information waiting to be understood. Too often, we treat failure as a judgment on our worth, as if a mistake defines who we are. We ask, "Why me?" and let that question sink us into despair. But what if we asked a different question? What if instead of seeing failure as an enemy, we saw it as a guide, a teacher, a signpost pointing us toward what we need to learn? That shift, small as it may seem, changes everything. Failure is not a reflection of your identity. It is feedback. It tells you what isn't working, what needs adjustment, what strategies require refinement. Imagine standing in a dark room and stumbling over furniture. The stumble itself is not the problem. The problem is remaining in the dark, failing to observe and adjust. Each mistake illuminates the room a little more, guiding you toward the path forward. Reframing failure as feedback requires courage because it asks us to take responsibility for learning rather than wallowing in blame or regret. It asks us to see setbacks not as insults, but as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more prepared. Every great achiever in history, every person we admire for their resilience, has embraced this mindset. They did not avoid failure. They engaged with it, extracted the lessons, and applied them to their next move. Thomas Edison once said that he did not fail 1,000 times when inventing the light bulb. He simply discovered 1,000 ways that didn't work. That perspective transformed repeated disappointment into a roadmap for eventual success. When you begin to see obstacles as teachers rather than enemies, each challenge becomes a blueprint for growth. Every rejection, every setback, every disappointment is an opportunity to refine your approach, strengthen your resolve, and gain insight that will serve you in ways success alone never could. That mindset transforms ordinary struggles into extraordinary comebacks because it empowers you to act. You stop being a passive participant in life, waiting for luck or chance to favor you, and you start actively learning, adjusting, and moving forward. Reframing failure is not easy. It takes discipline, self-awareness, and patience, but the payoff is immense. The moment you see failure as feedback, you reclaim control over your story. You take what once felt like a setback and turn it into a stepping stone. You take what once seemed like a defeat and turn it into a lesson that propels you higher. Every challenge now becomes an opportunity, every obstacle a teacher, and every failure a blueprint for the extraordinary life that is waiting for you to claim it. That is the power of reframing failure. And that is the mindset that transforms ordinary setbacks into the foundation of a remarkable comeback. When life throws you a setback, it's easy to feel powerless, as if the world is conspiring against you and no action you take will make a difference. That feeling of helplessness can be paralyzing, but the truth is, even in the midst of difficulty, there is always something within your control. You cannot rewrite the past. You cannot undo what has already happened, no matter how much you wish you could. You cannot make others act differently, nor can you always predict the circumstances that come your way. But what you can do, what you have complete authority over, is your response, your choices, and the actions you take from this moment forward. When you focus on what is within your control, you reclaim your power. You stop being a passive observer in your own life and become the driver of your own destiny. It begins with small, deliberate steps. What can you do today to move forward? What habits can you strengthen? What skills can you develop? What mindset can you cultivate? By directing your energy toward these areas, you begin to build momentum. You shift from frustration and regret into action and progress. Letting go of what is outside your reach is equally important. Worrying about things you cannot change, other people's opinions, unforeseen events, or past mistakes drains your energy and clouds your judgment. When you release those worries, you free yourself to focus on what truly matters, your growth, your decisions, and your path forward. The power of this focus is transformative. When you direct your energy toward your influence, you multiply its effect. Every choice you make, every action you take compounds over time. Small steps forward today lead to significant progress tomorrow. The more attention you give to what you can control, the faster you rebuild, recover, and rise stronger from setbacks. This approach requires discipline and self-awareness. It demands that you resist the temptation to dwell on things you cannot change and commit fully to what you can. It requires courage to accept that while you cannot control everything, you are never powerless, because your decisions, your habits, and your mindset are always yours. This principle applies in every aspect of life, from your career to your relationships, from your personal growth to your health. When you focus on what you can control, you create a foundation of stability in the midst of chaos. You transform uncertainty into opportunity and frustration into action. Ultimately, this mindset turns setbacks into a proving ground, a place where your resilience, creativity, and determination are strengthened. By consistently investing your energy in what you can influence, you create the conditions for your comeback, and you discover a truth that many never realize. Real power doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from controlling yourself. That is how you rise. That is how you transform adversity into achievement. That is how you reclaim your life, step by step, choice by choice, action by action. This is where resilience comes in, not as an abstract idea, but as a practice, something you can build, strengthen, and cultivate. And the way to build it is through small wins. Every small action you take toward recovery, every little step forward matters. Perhaps it's waking up on time. Perhaps it's completing a task you've been avoiding. Perhaps it's simply choosing to face the day despite feeling discouraged. Each of these moments is a victory, a signal to your mind and body that you are capable, that you are moving, that you are not defeated. Resilience is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. And unlike physical muscles, you don't need a gym. You need persistence, awareness, and intention. By celebrating small wins, you not only gain momentum, you rebuild confidence. Confidence is not a gift. It is earned, step by step, action by action. Each time you follow through, each time you choose to act instead of retreat, you reinforce the truth that you can overcome, that you can endure, that you can rise again. Often, we think we need grand gestures, big breakthroughs, or sudden transformations to recover from setbacks. But the reality is that extraordinary comebacks are built from ordinary steps done consistently over time. The small wins compound, they add up, they create a rhythm of success that carries you through even the darkest moments. And here's the remarkable part. The mountain that once felt impossible to climb starts to shrink under the weight of your persistence. The challenge that intimidated you becomes a path you were meant to walk. Each small victory is proof that you are capable of more than you realized. Each forward step reminds you that adversity is not permanent, that growth is always possible, and that you are stronger than your circumstances. Resilience through small wins teaches patience. It teaches you that change does not always come overnight, that progress is often incremental, and that the journey itself is where strength is forged. It reminds you to honor the process, to appreciate the effort, and to recognize the courage in continuing, even when the results are not immediate. The power of small wins lies not only in their cumulative effect, but in the mindset they create. A mindset of persistence, of hope, and of self-belief. When you embrace this approach, setbacks lose their ability to define you. You start seeing every obstacle as an opportunity to strengthen your resilience, every challenge as a chance to demonstrate your courage, and every small win as a step toward the extraordinary comeback that awaits. In time, you look back and realize that the mountain you once feared was never too high. You were simply learning to climb it, one small, deliberate step at a time. The people, the stories, and the environment you surround yourself with have more power over your mindset than most of us realize. When you face setbacks, the voices around you can either lift you higher or pull you deeper into despair. Negative voices amplify doubt, magnify fear, and make obstacles seem insurmountable. One careless comment, one persistent critic, or one toxic relationship can overshadow weeks of effort, planting seeds of discouragement where determination should grow. That is why it is essential to carefully curate the influence in your life. Seek out mentors who have walked the path before you, people who have faced struggles and emerged stronger. Their experience becomes a guide, a source of wisdom you can lean on when your own vision is clouded. Surround yourself with friends and peers who believe in your potential, who celebrate your victories, and who encourage you to keep going when the world feels heavy. Positive influence is contagious. When you immerse yourself in it, you start thinking differently, believing differently, and acting differently. You begin to see setbacks not as permanent failures, but as temporary challenges that can be overcome. Stories of resilience, books, speeches, documentaries, or even personal narratives from those around you have the power to reshape your perception. When you see someone else rise from adversity, it lights a spark in you, reminding you that you too are capable of more than you imagined. Your environment doesn't just affect your emotions, it shapes your beliefs, your habits, and your expectations. If you dwell in criticism, pessimism, and negativity, you internalize those patterns. But if you seek positivity, inspiration, and encouragement, those patterns become your default response. Surrounding yourself with uplifting influence is not just about comfort, it is about empowerment. It is about creating a space where you are free to grow, to fail safely, to learn, and to push forward without unnecessary weight holding you down. This influence acts like a mirror, reflecting back your potential and reminding you of the strength you already possess. And the incredible truth is this: the more you commit to immersing yourself in positivity, the more you begin to believe not just in recovery, but in greatness. You start to see that setbacks are not the end of your story, they are the beginning of a chapter where growth, courage, and resilience define you. Choosing who and what you let into your life is an act of self-respect and strategy. It is a decision to protect your energy, to guard your focus, and to accelerate your comeback. Every encouraging word, every supportive gesture, every story of triumph you absorb becomes a tool, equipping you to rise higher than you could have on your own. When you surround yourself with positive influence, you don't just recover from setbacks, you transform your environment into a launching pad for your potential, allowing you to rise, thrive, and inspire others to do the same. When life knocks you down, it's easy to become consumed by the immediate pain, the frustration, and the disappointment. In those moments, it feels as if the setback is the whole story, as if the challenge defines who you are and what your future can hold. But setbacks are not the final chapter, they are just a chapter. Your story is much larger than any one failure, any one disappointment, any one obstacle. The key to rising above adversity is to commit to a vision that is bigger than the difficulty you face right now. When you set your eyes on a vision beyond the setback, you create a destination that draws you forward, a reason to keep moving even when the present feels heavy. That vision becomes a compass, guiding your decisions, shaping your actions, and reminding you that your current pain is temporary, but your potential is limitless. Purpose is what transforms adversity into fuel. When you are driven by something greater than yourself, challenges become opportunities. Setbacks no longer paralyze you. Instead, they test your commitment and refine your determination. Every obstacle becomes a stepping stone. Every difficulty a teacher, every moment of struggle a chance to align more closely with your purpose. The larger your vision, the smaller your setbacks appear. When your eyes are fixed on what is possible, the temporary failures that once loomed so large lose their power to intimidate. You begin to see that each obstacle is just a momentary diversion on the path to something extraordinary, a necessary part of the journey that strengthens your resolve and hones your focus. Committing to a vision beyond the setback also requires courage, the courage to dream even when circumstances feel bleak, to plan even when uncertainty surrounds you, and to act even when the path forward is not yet clear. It demands faith in yourself, in your abilities, and in the fact that life's challenges do not define you, they refine you. And when you rise, rebuild, and pursue your vision, your comeback becomes more than just personal recovery. It becomes an inspiration to others. People see what is possible when someone refuses to let setbacks dictate their future. Your vision, your purpose, and your determination become a beacon of hope, a testament to the human spirit's capacity to endure, adapt, and thrive. This is the power of committing to a vision beyond the setback. It shifts your focus from what you have lost to what you are building, from the temporary pain of the moment to the permanent impact of your journey. It transforms struggle into significance, adversity into action, and challenges into triumph. When you hold fast to that vision, setbacks no longer have the power to stop you. They only have the power to shape you, preparing you for the life you were meant to live and the impact you were meant to make. Your story is bigger than this moment, and your vision will carry you forward to a future that is not defined by setbacks, but by the courage, persistence, and greatness that emerge in response to them.